It's never been easy getting the 28 to move in the same direction. Now 27 are learning that there's something even harder: managing the departure of a nation from this place and its myriad rules. Theresa May arrived, post-election a wounded antelope, to use a phrase coined by a Tory colleague, but hoping to regain the initiative.
We will be setting out how we propose to ensure that EU citizens living in the UK have their rights protected in the United Kingdom. Thank you.
Hearing the different views emerging from within Theresa May's cabinet, many of the European leaders arriving here are discarding the usual protocol of not commenting on another state's affairs and giving their own version of what they think Brexit should look like.
And I think if there is a continued link to the internal market and to the customs union in one form or another, including accepting that it also means the court in Luxembourg, the four freedoms, if we could come to something like that, I'm hopeful.
And reminding everyone of the wider interest, Europe's most powerful leader.
For me, the future of the EU27 takes precedence over negotiating the UK's exit from the EU.
That spread of attitudes from let's make Brexit as soft as possible to will you just get on with it runs through Europe's geographic and ideological axes. But they have been able to rally around their early priorities for negotiations, and at the top of those, the rights of EU citizens living in the UK.
I believe it is outrageous the way the government treats the people being in this situation. I mean, EU nationals residing or working in UK. And I'm saying this because all these people, they don't know if they will still have the right to continue their life and work in UK. So they need answers. They need rules, they need clarity, predictability, and I would add a bit of sensitivity.
In an attempt to answer that anger and move on the talks, Theresa May arrived bearing an offer on EU citizens, relating to UK citizens in EU countries too. But given the strength of European views, they won't yield much, particularly in the transitional phase of Brexit, expected to last years.
You want a lot of things which are impossible without accepting the European Court of Justice jurisdiction. The whole transition period, which is practically the extension of what we call acquis communautaire here in Brussels, which is simply the European Union law, the directives, the regulations. This is all under the supervision of the European Court of Justice. And if you want to maintain the certain rights for the citizens and you want to have a transition period also that would allow you to continue maybe also with some other rights, then we cannot accept that there is no European Court of Justice, because the European Court of Justice is the only court that we accept having the right to interpret European law.
There are plenty in Brussels who've become more pessimistic post-UK election about finding a way through Brexit. But speaking for the 27 governments, the Council President tried to inject some optimism today.
The European Union was built on dreams that seemed impossible to achieve. So, who knows? You may say, I am a dreamer, but I am not the only one.
Having made her citizens' rights pitch tonight to the 27, Theresa May trudged out of the summit, leaving the others to chew it over without her. Their response will come via negotiator Michel Barnier, a measure of the EU's determination to stick to its own rules of the road.